Sí. Okay, how are you doing? I'm doing a poetry thing. It's I don't know, this is a new one. It's
Because I wanted
I'll
to
give you a
go.
couple.
Yeah.
You can invite your friends. This is my friend Adam.
Hi, Andrea. Yeah, definitely. I'll stick them out, like, I'll put them on the floor. Next time, I wanted to go. Yeah, they're all gone, so.
Yeah, that was that from the last place. All right, see you later, Andrew. Hey, David. Hey, how are you? Ron, this is my friend Anna.
Hey, how are you? How are you?
Good. Nice meeting you. Rod, he's one of the counselors. I know. I had met him before when I used to work in with the HIV thing. Because they were always having, seminars and, new information, presentations and stuff. And then I hadn't seen him in a while, and then I ran into him again. He used to do a group where you would write. I really liked that one. Because it was more of using writing as sort of like to let it out thing, as opposed to like spelling it correctly. And you know what I mean? It was more about sentence. You don't have anything to say? Oh, no. This is Adam. He's my payee.
Hello.
My
Adam,
payee.
consultant is, this turns his money, I need to be here. Of course. Welcome.
So, where are we going? Okay. This way?
I'm going to take notes if that's okay.
All right. May I ask you why you thought I wasn't coming at 10?
Because I didn't have it in my calendar and I got confused.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that was. It just struck me strange, when I first, when I went to the window.
Yes, and I apologize for that. That was really an impact of my confusion. And also the rest of the confusion. So I was like, because I can't see what goes on out there or who's here. And so they knew we were going to meet today. This next part, by the way. And so they let me know we were here, and I thought, oh, I'll go see what it looks like. So I've been talking and looking at something.
Okay.
All right. You started this conversation with a phone message earlier this week that you had some concerns, and I thought we could start there.
All right. I did.
This is not just the phone call last week. He has been trying to get to see somebody in your position for almost 2 years now, man. He's been requesting, as long as I've been his payee, to figure out what this is. And your people out there have just blown him off.
So.
So I do want to say, I've been here since January. And as soon as you got a hold of me, you were not blown off.
Right.
That is my expectation of how this clinic will operate while I am here.
All right. Well, that has been my experience.
I just wanted
until now.
to know how long you've been attempting to do this, and it's when you got your number, and it wasn't from these people here, it was from
I got it from Munoz. You know, I think I believe I left that in the message too.
that's not right.
Agreed. Made outreach accounts for 2 years?
Yeah, when I started here, you know, I was working, you know, so I had no money to anything. And I tried a couple, I don't remember if it's like a year and a half. Because of my bipolar, my dates blur, you know.
That
But
makes me remember your treatment plan. I got that really quickly.
yeah. And when I was working in this restaurant, and then they closed the restaurant, so I went on unemployment. And then when my unemployment was running out, I started looking for resources and things, right? And then when it came to the point that I knew my unemployment was completely gone, and then I knew I was applying for because by this time I was disabled, right, with my problems and stuff. And I had, I don't know if you're familiar with the PATH program, because they're the ones that, I was homeless pretty much, right? And the PATH program was able to get me into a program to get an apartment, right? Then they were the ones that also helped me get like my paperwork done for Social Security and all of that stuff, right? So they spoke with Adam about trying to do something, right? Because, you know, like trying to figure out, right, like resources and all of that stuff, right? So then when I started talking to Shane about it, you know, they told me that Shane mentioned that there was some grants available, and, you know, that he would have to do some stuff, you know, and then he would keep me posted, right? Then the next time I spoke with him regarding that, I don't know if he forgot to submit it or if there was a problem with the deadline, but something happened and that didn't come through, right? But then he told me that there was other stuff, so he would be checking into it, right? But I didn't officially know that I owed all this money, you know, like there was never, okay.
I do not blame you for that balance, and I want to be very clear about that.
All right, I just wanted to like in my confusion, you know, with all the, you know, and like I said, it's been like a blur, you know, and I was trying to see Dr. Trout because at that point I was trying to go down on my dose, right?
Okay.
And then Dr. Todd went on vacation, but they never rescheduled me.
Okay.
You know, and every time I would ask Shane about it, it was never, like he would say, yeah, okay, I'll make an appointment, and then I would never get the appointment, right? And I never knew why, right? And I was polite, and I kept waiting and bringing it up. And then now I find out, and this was the last, you know. Yes.
Tell her why you were scared to bring it further about how the other clients were being thrown out when they raised
retaliation, basically. You know, I've been here for about 3 years, right? And several of the clients that I know, like whenever they would try to talk to someone, it would always end up badly, you know? And it's, you know, it's frustrating, right? Because
it then makes your other clients
not want to do nothing.
say something that would then get him thrown out of the program when he's not completing with it.
You know? And it creates a lot of tension, basically, you know?
My goal is to eradicate that.
Great.
This is not community correction. This is even, I don't even like to call it an institution of treatment. My goal is to make this an institution of recovery. And that,
Thank you, yes.
so we do that by recognizing that people have trauma, and so we respond to people in duress in a very certain way, and then we try to, in the clinic, make stress levels go down, so that we don't get depressed and
Ma'am, I'm sorry to say that they need training.
Agreed. Thank you. And keep in mind, 3 months.
Yes, I'm nice.
I'm just coming from a concerned, for him.
Sure.
And I keep getting letters from the government saying that I'm responsible for him.
Okay.
So I'm here.
He's the one I've been, he's the one that used me.
So I know about all his problems of the bleeding in his leg where one minute he's fine, the next minute, no joke, it's shooting out.
My veins burst,
Okay.
and they start shooting blood like a hose, like literally like a hose.
Sure. And they're like alcohol.
And he gets
And
blackout that I'm very concerned about.
that's why I was given a pay because of my blackout. And see, I still don't have a primary care provider. And that's been like a recurring nightmare, basically, because the 3 times that I've been to a doctor has been through basically emergency care, So now I have 3 bills, and I don't know, there's a lot of confusion as far as how Medicare operates, because a lot of the doctors I've spoken with don't want to give, they're not taking new Medicare patients, so it's like this catch-22 from hell, because you don't know where to go, basically,
And they keep turning his Medicaid on and off, which I don't understand.
And that's also confusing.
Yes, and that kind of caught my attention too. You said Medicare, and then you said Medicare. Originally?
Well, see, when I received my Medicare card, on the same day I received my Medicaid card.
Okay.
And on that same day I received a letter saying that they were cutting my Medicaid off because I didn't reapply, even though I didn't know it was ever given to me. So then when I called to find out what was going on, they just said the same thing. They said, yes, we cut you off because you didn't reapply. And I'm like, but I didn't have it, so how could you cut me off? And that was, Denver. So now what I'm doing on Monday is I'm going again, to try to solve this Medicaid thing. Because supposedly they're supposed to pay $100 for the Medicare, to activate, or I'm not entirely, But what they do now is that they take $100 from my Social Security to pay, to activate the Medicare that I can't use. So we're trying to figure out how that works, because if they give me the Medicaid, it should pay for some of this, it should pay for half of my fees, on a monthly basis. But like I said, I have to go back and start again the dialogue to see how it's going to be fixed.
It's a vicious circle there.
It is, but it's not hopeless. So let me this kind of gives me a snapshot of what's going on for you. And then in terms of your treatment plan, I can talk to you.
Yes.
Do you want me to be in communication with the harm reduction center that we're talking, or do you feel like you can have that conversation?
I'm okay with it either way, because I really trust Ruth, and she's helped me a lot. She's the one that helped me with the PASS program. She's been really good for me.
Everything you said, I'd like you to release some information. And to speak with Ruth, because I think too, she also has concerns, and I'd like to mitigate her concerns. We're working on what we're doing, and then Ruth will be on the phone.
Okay. Yes.
And
so, if you don't mind if I talk about your treatment plan?
No, not at all. No.
I know about his treatment plan. We have talked about it almost every day.
Great. So, you got a diagnosis of opiate dependence, with an injection history. And is that bringing you into the program to achieve stability on methadone?
Right.
Talk to me about your stability on methadone. How is it working for you?
It's the reason I go so early is because I am every morning by around 3 in the morning. I'm like this, you know. I'm nauseated. I'm throwing up. You know, and I'm diabetic too, and it seems to affect a lot of. Do you know what I mean? Because like I'll be hungry and nauseous at the same time, and I'm thirsty, and I have to go to the bathroom, and I'm sneezing, like everything at the same time. And it freaks you out, you know, because your body is sort of like going like this. And which is why I've been trying to see the doctor too, right, this whole time with, you know, and,
When was the last time you saw Dr. Trump?
it's been over a year.
Last time Dr.
Another thing too was that I was seeing the therapist here, and they were giving me medication. And then when that person finished her intern, I was supposed to go, you know, when the new one came in, but I was never like put into it.
So that gets then to treatment time depends from the to the
Okay.
bipolar
Right.
disorder. Okay. So tell me, it said that you would talk to a doctor appointment. You, I assume, saw a resident. Okay. When was the last time you saw a resident?
Oh, that's probably 2 years.
And then you provided a new stabilizer?
Yes.
What was that?
I don't remember the names, but
Before they went?
yes, it was. I got 2, and then after she left, I know it's been a while. So then I went to South Street, and again the PATH program was able to get me on medication again.
Okay, so you kind of did the path.
But then when I got Medicare, they cut me off because like now I have Medicare, right? And so like now I haven't had my medication for how long? Like 6 months maybe, or 8.
Well,
The mental one,
the mental ones for about 6 months.
Yeah. And that's again, you know, like they can't help me because I have Medicare, but I don't get a call from the Denver Mental Health. You know, it's like that, yeah. They're supposed to be the ones that, you know, get like provide me a therapist and then the prescriptions, right? And see, I have a prescription card, you know, that I'm supposed to get all my medications for $1.05.
Have you been able to get into NHP?
No, I'm waiting for, you know, like,
You're on a wait list.
I'm on a wait list. And see, like, I've been on a waiting list for Denver Health for, I don't know, I think it's over a year, because when I first got my CHCP is when I got on the waiting list, but they still haven't called me, and it's been over a year.
When you talk about being on the waiting list for Denver Health, is that the primary?
For the primary care provider.
Not primary for that.
Right.
Okay. Ask me about how mental health is going.
I've been really bad lately.
How's that with that? Tell me about that.
I can't sleep. I hardly sleep at all. My mind is always racing. I feel totally vulnerable, and you know, I feel like I have no control over my life, you know, and I feel that every time I reach out, I'm, you know, abused and treated wrong.
Yeah, for me this morning. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to be very...
That's why I had to, you know...
gentle and... Okay.
But that's why when I went to the window, my first impression was like, here we go again. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was going to be different, and like here we are. Because the way, from my point of view, I see it as like this control issue. You know what I mean? Because I know that you guys can do whatever you want with the methadone. You know, like that. Like I know there's procedures and whatever. But I also feel that I don't have any rights. You know, every time I try to talk to Adam, you know, he goes into a speech about weed, you know, and doesn't let me
I
speak.
was going to get there, but
You know what I mean? Like, And like, I mean, I've sold hamburgers all my life, you know, so I know about customer service and I know how it works, you know, and I feel that no matter how I look at it, you know, nobody lets me express myself, you know, because if I do, you know, you're too emotional. I'm bipolar, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you know what I mean? That's how I'm feeling. It's like, okay, I have no medication. I'm supposed to shut up and be proper. You know, if I was like that, I wouldn't be here. You know. Well, thank you. But sometimes I'm able to release a lot of my, you know, through the art. But when my mind is racing, I can't. You know, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm like this, you know, like
When he does one, he gets more blackouts.
And I tend to
And he'll be speaking English when he goes into a blackout, and when he comes out, he'll be speaking Spanish.
That is frightening. It's probably kind of scary.
It's very scary. It's I've almost burned the house several times. You know,
I'm afraid to go home at night and leave him alone.
A lot of times he has to spend the night, you know, because you know, like if I'm really like when I almost burned the house down, you know what I mean? It's like I put something.
I'm not working at the moment because of my foot. But when I'm working, I have him call me 2-3 times a day, and I'll call him a couple times just to make sure that, you know, I'm concerned about it, you know, and it takes time out of my life to come to him, but he needs help.
Oh, I know. And Ruth knows how to too, so, you know.
With the blackout piece, you mentioned that you were diabetic. That may very well be. Are you drinking alcohol at all?
Not, I have a beer sometimes, but almost, you know, it's not like it's not a problem for the belly.
Because a lot of times, like alcohol, it binds with diabetes, will increase blackouts.
That's not possible there.
And usually, like, if I have a beer, it's with food, you know.
He's not a go down, drink 24 pack
and then go out.
1, 2, and then may not drink for another couple weeks, you know, or he may go have a shot here and there before he goes on to perform. But he doesn't. He's not an everyday drinker. He's not a.
I'm not an alcoholic.
And you know that, and of course, you know the danger of glucose hypnotic sedatives of the alcohol and other. Okay, so treatment number 3 is the criteria diagnosis of HPV.
Yes.
Okay.
That's another thing that's been in limbo.
Tell me about limbo.
Well, they gave me the shots that they're supposed to give you for the A and B.
Okay.
You know, and then they haven't done anything else, right? Like nobody's checked my liver, nobody's, you know, because most of the doctors that I've seen are at the South Street Clinic, and for example, like they did X-rays on my knees, right, and they were able to confirm that I have arthritis, right? But then they did X-rays on my hip and my right here, you know, and then when I went back to South Street, they had the doctor that had ordered them wasn't there anymore, so I never got the results. You know, then they did X-rays on my ankles because they swell like a grapefruit. Do you see all these little dots?
I do.
Those are the ones that pop.
And foot care and hygiene is so important for a diabetic.
My feet hurt so much.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm in a lot of pain with the.
We have taken him to the South Street Clinic, and there's
a nurse there that takes care of my feet.
But they won't let her see him that often.
Like, it's kind of like I have
And
to
he should really
meet
see
him,
somebody
you know.
at least once a month.
And she didn't sing this thing.
I
This
want to
time,
back this up a little bit, because I still want to talk about your liver
right.
hepatitis. So it sounds like you've not had any direct care or treatment for the virus.
No.
And see, I've been having trouble breathing, and, okay.
And you have to, because I want to really be very clear and specific about each category, so that we can really start work. Have you been to the IV clinic at all? If the IV clinic is a kind of public health building and they specialize in hepatitis, HIV, those infectious buildings.
I vaguely remember going when I first started, but I think it was, like, it wasn't like for treatment or anything. I think it was part of the check-in. Did I do something with the
Yeah, they
check-in?
do a check-in, but then you should have continuity of care.
Yeah, because I don't,
You did not.
no.
So then moving to dimension 3, there's kind of this disclosure of several new medical problems to include history of leg pain. Is that in combination with the feet and the vein issue?
It's all, is they swell really bad. Like, sometimes, for example, I cannot wear socks, right, because they get so, yeah. And usually, you know, like, I try to cut my own nails, right, but I'm not the
And
best
I'm
at
just
it.
scared too.
But
Have you ever had Hektor?
oh, yes, I love them. But,
You can work on these.
well, the thing, though, is that, see, when I went to the podiatrist, this toe was, it's basically, like, I have some sort of, like, a callus, but then, like, so I would tear it off, and then another one would grow, and then eventually, it's like I had layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So when I went to the podiatrist, he cut it off, and he trimmed it, and he did my nails really nice and all that. Then he sent me a bill for $125. And I don't understand, because Medicare, like, we're still trying to understand how it works, right? Because,
Right, and I don't know.
well, but it just seems really outrageous that if he's charging me $125 plus whatever Medicaid paid, that basically it was a pedicure, you know?
Right.
So why should it
The
be?
ladies
So,
And that's
for the-
what I'm going, you know, if he doesn't have any extra money, what he's getting now is gone. He gets $4 a month for food stamps.
yeah, which they just cut off. And so that's why I'm going on Monday too. I'm trying to find out, because nothing's changed. You know, as far as my income?
As far as I'm concerned, he's just got the runaround for the last 2 years.
From everywhere.
The only thing that is coming in on time is his SSD checks, but it's after he pays all his bills.
I went, we made like a list, like I actually sat down with Shane and we went like, because you know I'm paying back my student loans and you know all that stuff. And I'm sorry, which was the last question? The medical, okay. Right now I have 3 outstanding bills from like a third of 3 times that I went. And I think one is like 125 and one is like 105. They're all like 100 and something. And basically that's scary too, because if every time I go to the doctor they're going to send me a bill for 125, you know, it doesn't work, you know. So I'm trying to, one of the things that I asked Shane to help me with was trying to find resources, you know, to help me pay the fee, you know, the weekly fee. Because right now I get, you know, like the empowerment thing, like they help. But it's not a lot, you know, it's, and I've tried churches and, you know, they used to have a resource list, and that's how I found empowerment, you know. And I did call the social worker here. I'm trying to set an appointment to see if she'll help me, you know, like either locate resources or you know, to have some suggestions. You know.